please give it up for Mr. Kyle Meredith. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, man.
Godspeed.
What's going on, everybody? So first, just to give a special thank you so much to Valiant Studio for putting this together. This is an amazing full production here. To Chris, our amazing host here, and to ClickBank's marketing team. There's so many people behind the scenes that are putting a lot of work and effort into producing this. So too many names to be able to share, right? But Monica, Stephanie, Spud, Brett, Taylor, Jake, so many different people behind the scenes working their magic here. So thank you so much. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the 7 pitfalls to avoid when getting started in affiliate marketing. So let's start off with talking about who I am and why should you care, right? So my name is Kyle Meredith, and as Chris alluded to, I'm a business development manager. So that means it is my job to go find new business for ClickBank. I specifically focus on trying to find new high-performing offers to bring to the platform for affiliates. So my day is really filled with conversations with entrepreneurs, both people that own a product and people that are affiliates and just promoting those products, right? So people like Jen and Marty and Isabella that was just up here, and offer owners as well, to try and help set them up for success and make the most of their efforts on the ClickBank platform. So just a couple of notes there, right? I'm an offer and an affiliate hunter. I love connecting people together that can help enhance each other's business, help each other make more money, help them strategize. I'm a networker by nature. I really love all of that. So let's talk about you, though. So which one of these buckets do you kind of fall into? Right? Are you just getting started in affiliate marketing? You're here just seeking to learn more. Maybe you're launching your first campaign, or if you're like me, sometimes you get stuck in paralysis by analysis, right? Indecision is killing you. You're having a hard time getting started. And maybe you're in a different bucket. Maybe you're looking, you're already doing some volume and you're just looking to scale up. No matter which one of those buckets you fall into, you're in the right place. And I hope today that I can give you some kind of value that you can take away and use within your business. So let's jump into the very first one, right? Pitfall number 1 is picking the wrong platform. So I'm, of course, biased because I'm at ClickBank. But in those conversations, and I mean, I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations over the last 3.5 years at ClickBank from affiliates who have talked about how important the platform is to them. Like, let's use one example here. Some affiliates are able to run directly with an offer owner, right? But that means you are kind of running this risk, just like, when you try and go and evaluate picking the right gym, right? So we're going to use this analogy throughout the presentation here. But when you are trying to pick a gym, you want to find something that has the equipment that you need, right? It's in a location that's easy for you to get to. Because if you don't have set up for success at the gym, you're probably not going to be able to have success sticking to a schedule there, right? So let's take that same ideology and let's apply it to a platform, right? A couple of key things that I think you should be looking for in a platform. Number 1, does it have reliable attribution? Are you going to get credit for the traffic that you are sending? Are you confident that you have that tracking built in place? Number 2, you're confident that you're going to get paid, right? That's the most important one. The more you get paid, the higher you can scale. So payment frequency is super important. Do they have payment methods that are like a good fit for you, right? Can they do wire transfer? Can they do direct deposit? Is physical check what you prefer? ClickBank has different options. That's why it can be a great option as well. Number 3, and this is something that Taylor talked about in his presentation this morning, right? Does it have high-performing offers? ClickBank offers are designed to convert to cold traffic. That way you can know confidently that you just need to work on improving your campaign because you know that the offer is going to convert for customers. You don't have to control for that variable. You're just figuring out, how do I improve my own campaign's performance? ClickBank is a platform full of high-performing offers, and it's really important for you to find a platform that contains that. And number 4 provides analytics, right? You're going to get analytics if you're buying ads on YouTube or Facebook, you're driving native traffic through Taboola, Outbrain, MGID, something like that. You're going to have analytics from that platform. But ClickBank is also providing another element of those analytics so that you can have the full scope of the picture of how your campaign is performing, so you aren't wasting time trying to optimize or taking guesses and really lengthening the amount of time it takes for you to find success. Pitfall number 2, right, is picking bad offers, and this is very different, or assuming that the offer sucks. So I don't know if you're like me, right? I don't prefer to go to a gym that's jam-packed, right? If the gym looks like this and I have to wait 4 minutes for the right equipment just in order to do the next part of my workout, it usually delays me, right? It leads to really annoying friction in my own workout. So in affiliate marketing, you can end up in a similar situation, right? Most popular does not always equal best. So if you go to the ClickBank marketplace and you are searching for the top offers regardless of category, something for you to keep in mind is you're probably going to be competing with the most affiliates you possibly could be, right? If you pick the top offer on ClickBank, that is probably the most saturated offer on the platform, which means when you're buying ads, those ads are probably going to be more expensive for you. So most popular does not always mean best. What you want to do is go a little bit deeper in the marketplace, right? You can find amazing offers that are very high performing for you that are beyond the first 3 to 5 pages of the marketplace, right? You can find incredible offers in pages 5 to 20. The marketplace is a stack ranking of offers, and it's looking over a specific time period, right? So you'll have new offers that are doing extremely well, but it takes them time to ascend the marketplace. So just be a little bit more thorough in your search of the marketplace, and don't just focus on those top ones, especially if your ad costs a little bit high. Switch to something that perhaps has less competition so that you aren't competing with those extremely high-scaled affiliates. If you are in contact with the vendor, right, which you can do in the ClickBank marketplace, there is an affiliate contact field. They can either provide email or Skype, so you can get a hold of them. You can ask them what traffic sources are working best for the offer, right? So you can make sure that your traffic source is aligned with how that offer is performing best, right? Is it performing best on YouTube or Facebook? Is it organic? Is email what's crushing it, right? Understand those so that you can be sure that you're aligned with it. And collectively, those will allow you to diagnose the problem, right? You're driving traffic to a high-performing offer, and you are focusing on your analytics so you can figure out, okay, why is my offer not converting? Or if you're already converting, you can simply figure out, okay, what lever do I need to pull next in order to boost conversions, make myself more money so that I can afford to scale up higher. Pitfall number 3, shiny object syndrome. I'm sure everybody in their life is familiar with this one, right? At times I've suffered with shiny object syndrome myself, but it's incredibly important, right? So if you go to the gym and you are dabbling in bodybuilding and CrossFit and MMA, calisthenics, all these different workout types, you might get a little bit better at some of them, or maybe even all of them, right? But instead, what if you took all of that energy and you focused on one type, right? You would get so much better, so much faster at it. So pick one traffic source when you're running it. You want to become an expert in one traffic source before you try out more. Put all of your effort and energy into that one, right? Learn that traffic source, dedicate yourself to it, reinvest your profits into scaling up higher with it, and focus on mastering it. Become better, 1% better every day. That will compound over time. I promise that will make a huge difference in you. So avoid shiny object syndrome. Stick to one source. Pitfall number 4, right, is guessing, right? In that same analogy we've been talking about, right, you don't want to change up your plan too frequently, right? If you change up your plan too frequently, you don't necessarily see progress. You don't know how you have come forward in the last 2 weeks and how you are different now than you were then. Affiliate marketing, you're going to take the same approach, right? You want to make data-driven decisions. So you're not guessing. You're listening to the data. You're letting the data inform you what to do differently. So when you're optimizing, optimize top down, right? When you land on a page, the first thing people see is what's at the top of that page, right? And it's called above the fold. When you land on a page, everything that you can see before you start scrolling, that's called above the fold. So you want to optimize top down in order to increase your conversions. Second thing, this is really important, limit how many variables you are testing. If you test too many variables all at once, you don't necessarily know what led to an improvement in your campaign. So it doesn't mean you have to test one element at a time. You can test more than that, but certainly don't test 3, 4, 5 elements at a time, because you're going to be uninformed as to what led to an improvement. Something that I would also highly recommend too is, especially if you're a beginning affiliate, focus on trying to make changes that are going to really move the needle for you, right? If you're trying to improve your campaign, test an entirely new creative angle, right? Change that headline out, because that's going to be a huge needle mover for you. You don't necessarily have to focus on the onset about changing the verbiage on your call to action. That might be a smaller change for you to be able to make that makes more sense for you to test when you're at a higher scale. If you don't think that you have a chance to improve your campaign by 50%, I wouldn't spend much of your time or budget doing that. And if you want to try and get an idea of like, what do I optimize first, what do I optimize second, put yourself in the shoes of the customer that's seeing your ads, right? What do they see first? Depending on what your traffic source is, they could see the ad first, they could be seeing your email first, they could be seeing your blog content or your organic content on social media, whatever it is, right? Think about what they see first. That's what you want to focus on improving first. And then think about what they see next, right? Are they going from your ad to your pre-lander? Are they going from your content straight to your sales page, right? Because if it's straight to the sales page, you've passed that off. Now it's up to the offer to convert the customer. But think about what you control next, and that's what you want to focus on as you make a funnel improvements throughout, okay? So let's go to pitfall number 5, blowing your cash, right? Super easy analogy here, right? You get injured at the gym, you cannot go work out again until you're recovered. If you blow all of your cash, you're going to have to build that back up if you want to try the same traffic source, right? You may have to pivot to organic and trying to build up a free audience, which is a longer tail effort, right? It takes more time to do that and a lot of consistency. So use your capital as wisely as you can. In my opinion, you can this is really geared for people that are buying ads, right? But in my opinion, you focus on the necessities. What are the necessities? One is a page builder, right? And you can get really cost-effective page builders. I personally like options like Convertry, Lead Pages is another good option, ClickFunnels is a good option. You'd even be able to probably use a site like Wix though, right? It may not have the sexiest URL, but it's gonna be cost-effective for you so that you can put the majority of your money into the ads so that you can try and improve, right? Because you have to acquire that data. And then from there, you can equip with more tools as you grow. So that's when you can start looking at third-party trackers and spy tools, paid stock images and videos, split testing software, and courses. Now, I know we've heard a lot about courses today, but if you're just beginning, there's so much free content that you can get out there. And I promise at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you some sources, some resources that you can use to try and obtain information without having to pay for it. Courses can be great at building a foundation of knowledge for you. They can be amazing resources, but you don't have to start there. Right? That can be something that you graduate into in order to figure out what levers you should pull as you are growing your business. Right? And things like paid stock images and videos, they enhance the quality of your creatives. They make they add some polish to it, if you will, right? So that can certainly help. You don't need it from the onset. You can find tons of free images to be able to use in your creatives. And even software, like if you're considering doing YouTube ads, and you're like, how do I even put together a video? I don't have video editing software. I don't have any video editing skills, anything like that. Well, you could learn like Adobe, what is the name of the Adobe, whatever the name of the Adobe program is, right? You could learn something like that, which takes a lot longer too. So now you're building up a secondary skill set, or you can find programs out there that are so much more user-friendly, right? And they don't require you to be a video editing expert to be able to utilize something like that. So equip with different tools as you grow. And pitfall number 6, this is probably the most important one outside of the last one, is ignoring psychology, right? So if you go to the gym and you are putting in effort to try and get better, you want to understand what good form looks like, right? You want to establish a mind-body connection so that you know if you are hitting the right muscle group, how should that feel, right? I'm a golfer. I'm not a good golfer, but I enjoy golfing. And something that's so important for me is understanding how my swing should feel, because it's such a fluid thing. So if I'm having a day where my swing feels really off, I'm just going to try and get my mindset back into, how do I get back to that feeling that I know works really well for my swing? And the gym is the same thing, but you can take that, you can also apply it to affiliate marketing. So in my opinion, there are no good shortcuts to understanding psychology, right? How many of you have actually read the offer copy or watched the VSL for the offer that you were driving traffic to? I'm sure some of you have totally done that. I myself I just couldn't sit through a VSL. I would never be inspired to do that. But in order to understand psychology of direct response marketing and affiliate marketing, I've got to do it. I have to learn that way, right? So read the offer copy, watch the VSL, take extensive notes throughout. What are you trying to know? What are you trying to learn? Well, you're trying to learn, how does the offer convert people, right? What's their hook? What is their lead, right? How are they engaging people? And what are the emotional ties that they're establishing with the customer in order to convince the customer that their product is the right solution for them? You want to know that stuff so that you can ensure that your creatives align with it. Second, this is a huge one, right? Don't rip off other affiliates' ads. It is a given, sure. But it is truly more expensive for you, because Facebook and YouTube, right, those algorithms they don't reward reused ads. It's actually more expensive for you. It's also more expensive for the person that you ripped off ads for. But most importantly, right, it's more expensive for you. So be unique, be creative. And the other most important part, right, is if you're using spy tools or something like that to understand or find offers that are working really well, affiliate creatives that are working really well, and you are simply taking them, you don't understand why they're working, which means you won't be able to replicate their success because you just don't understand the full funnel picture, right? Some affiliates run campaigns that aren't profitable on the front end, but they're capturing emails and they're remarketing to those emails, and sometimes that's where their profitability comes from. And if you're trying to straight up compete with them one-to-one on that, you're going to lose because they're at scale. So don't rip off ads. It costs you more. You don't understand why they work, and you really need to, right? Because even if you take an ad and it works for you for 2 weeks, do you understand why it converted? Can you recreate that for another offer? Because if you can't, your success is going to be really short-lived. You might make a bundle of money, and then you might lose it, again, because you haven't taken the time to try and understand the psychology of why those ads work and why the offer works that you're driving traffic to. Think about, how do you align your creatives with the offer? Can you use their hook, right? Is that hook really compelling? Can you use it in your own ads to try and drive the right audience so that you have high quality clicks going to that sales page, right? You don't want low quality clicks that are jumping out and abandoning it, because you're paying for those. You want to make sure that they're high quality clicks. You want to make sure that you've identified the right audience and driven them to that sales page, right? And most important pitfall here, right, is abandoning ship. So you have heard Isabella talk about this earlier today. Taylor talked about it. He also shared some of the presentations from the short videos from like Jen and Marty and stuff, right? Affiliate marketing success does not happen overnight. It takes time to learn this, right? You want to create a plan to be consistent so that you can see results. Be patient with it, right? I'm going to share with you a couple of different quotes here. So the first one, for every reason it's not possible, there are hundreds of people who have faced the same circumstances and succeeded. I think this is really powerful, so I'm going to share it one more time, right? For every reason it's not possible, there are hundreds of people who have faced the same circumstances and succeeded. If you're trying to have success in affiliate marketing, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? You know that it's been successful for a lot of people. You're not blazing a new trail in affiliate marketing necessarily, right? You're not necessarily a challenger brand. You're just trying to find, how do I make this work for me? Who is Jack Canfield? For the record, he is the author behind the chicken soup brand. They make books, right? They have a book for every soul in the universe. So they now have over 250 books behind that brand. Well, what's crazy about Jack Canfield is he was rejected by 144 publishers before he ever published his first book, right? It took him 14 months to sell a single copy for the very first time. And his goal when he launched it was ambitious. He was like, I'm going to sell 500,000 copies. And you fast forward to today, he has sold over 500 million copies, right? But if he said, okay, I give up, after those 144 publishers rejected him, he would have never seen that success. It took him 14 months. Imagine being that patient through a process like that, right? It takes time. And I'm not saying affiliate marketing takes the same amount of time, right? The point is that it takes patience and diligence and sticking with it. A second quote here is by Howard Schultz. I am convinced that most people can achieve their dreams and beyond if they have the determination to keep trying. Howard Schultz founded Starbucks. But before Starbucks became what everybody knows that it is today, he was turned away by 242 banks. Can you imagine getting rejected 242 different times? He actually never got a loan from a bank. He had to invest with 3 individual investors. It was a doctor and 2 private investors. They collectively came up with $400,000. Today, Starbucks has got over 32,000 storefronts in over 80 countries. They are literally worldwide, and they serve 8.5 million customers every single day. And that doesn't happen if he doesn't stick to it and stick to what he believed in, which is that he could make this brand a undeniable success, right? If you are truly passionate about affiliate marketing, you need to adopt the same mindset that you're going to be successful. And you're going to do everything that you can to learn how to be successful. And it's going to be hard. You're going to have some campaigns where you're negative, right? You don't make money. But what do you learn from that? You're going to learn amazing things that help you move forward in the future and have that successful campaign. In Jen's story, right, she talked about how she did it for years. Before she had her first truly successful, incredible ad, she was out there for multiple years putting it together. And then all of a sudden it changed. Business changed virtually overnight. Third quote here is going to be by Thomas Edison. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison is largely credited with inventing the light bulb, right? Kind of more so builds off of different people that were successful before him, but he did make the first commercially viable light bulb. And his research notes show that he failed 2,774 times to invent the commercial light bulb before he succeeded. He had to experiment for 14 months, the same amount of time it took Jack Canfield to sell his first copy of his book. And he invented the phonograph despite being partially deaf. The phonograph is the first man-made item ever to record sound and play it back. And despite being partially deaf, he was the first guy to ever do that. And today, this is a total estimate, right? Nobody actually tracks this, but there's estimated to be over 8 billion light bulbs in use today. I would argue it's probably way higher than that because I don't know a place, I don't know anybody that actually tracks these figures, right? A couple of other notables here. At 18, Walt Disney was fired from a local newspaper because he lacked creativity. You tell me 5 people who are more creative in history than Walt Disney. And you might be able to come up with a list, but it's still going to be a short list, right? Everybody knows this one in high school. Michael Jordan failed to make the varsity basketball team. He was not innately talented. What he was good at is that he could stick with it. He wasn't going to be outworked by anybody, right? Mia Hamm, who went on to become one of the greatest female soccer players in history, was born with a club foot. Despite that, she still found incredible success. So, in affiliate marketing, treat this like a business, because it is. It's your business. You want to craft a plan, you want to stick to it, and you want to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. You may not be profitable your first week, your first month, your first 3 months, your first campaign, your first 3 campaigns, your first 5 campaigns, but you're going to be learning so much along the way. If you want to make this a long-term business, you need to treat it like it is a true business, because it is your business. So I promised a few resources for you, so let's go ahead and jump into those real quick. The ClickBank blog, most every article is published by this guy named Daniel Thrasher that works at ClickBank. He is incredibly passionate about what he does. He puts his heart and soul into publishing those blog posts. They have a ton of valuable content on them. There are 3 different resources here, and I promise we're going to share these slides with everybody after they'll be available after we wrap up here. But there's 3 different specific ones. If you want to learn more about landing pages, succeeding at affiliate marketing, and how Daniel got his first sale, those 3 blog posts will be great. Second is ClickBank's YouTube channel. Another shameless plug here, right? But we interview incredibly successful affiliate marketers, and we are constantly producing content that is designed to help you succeed. So Taylor and Jake and Dylan, everybody that's involved with the ClickBank YouTube channel, it takes so much time and effort to produce those, and they really do have you guys in mind when they are producing it. So if you think you'd get some value out of it, please consider checking that out. And the third one is the Affiliated Podcast, where we interview people like Jen, like Thomas Giddings, this diamond affiliate that's on ClickBank. We pick their brains, right, so that we can understand how did it work for you. And as hosts, we're genuinely curious people, right? We want to know the answer of how they found success, the same way that you guys do. So we're trying to ask those questions and probably cover a lot of the similar things that you guys would want to be asking them if you had an audience with them in person. And that podcast can be found on all your traditional channels, right? Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. Now, 2 non-ClickBank ones. MaxWeb blog. MaxWeb is a affiliate network. They are a diamond client on ClickBank. They have a blog post where they go really deep. It's 100% affiliate-focused content, and they do a really good job of curating those. Last one is going to be Liam K's YouTube channel. Liam K is a platinum affiliate on ClickBank. He produces a lot of content that really peels back the curtain on affiliate marketing and can give you some really good insights into how he thinks about and approaches business. And for that, that's going to wrap up my presentation here today. Chris will come out. We'll take care of some questions. But again, thank you so much for participating today, and looking forward to seeing how I can add some value to you during this Q&A session.
Thank you. Big round of applause for the one, the only Jedi Master, Kyle Meredith. Thank you, Kyle, for covering those important pitfalls. And I like, as a lot of speakers have done, you really emphasized mindset, consistency, resilience, and sticking with it.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time to do.
I appreciate the personal stories, and especially all the gym photography. I definitely just want to go lift now.
I'm clearly built like a brick house, so, definitely got to be talking about the gym. It really sells it.
I'd really like to go work out, but we're not doing that today. So a few questions from the chat, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Let's
right.
get into it.
When starting out, do you change product images and get creative right off, or do you just use what the vendor gives?
Yeah, great question. So I think for the most part, affiliates use what the vendor provides to get inspiration, right? You can certainly use what they provide, but I like completely unique funnels that are simply grabbing inspiration from what the vendor provides, right? If you're doing email marketing and they've provided email swipe copy, well, typically ESPs don't reward copying, pasting the same creatives that others are selling. So again, it's digging into the psychology and figure out why are they providing this email creative? What really works about it? And what can I learn from that so that I can improve my own creatives? The same thing with images that you're trying to consider adding for your pre-landers and stuff like that. I would swap out product images myself using what works for the offer owner in mind.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Yeah, it's often like brand guidelines, like really if you're going to a really good affiliate tools page and they've provided a really good array of resources, that's almost giving you guidance and signposts to sort of how best represent the brand in your own way. So I think, what you're trying to emphasize is use those to your advantage so that you still represent the offer, but you do it in a way that speaks to your audience. Because I think as the affiliate, you've got a unique point of view, a unique angle that you want to take advantage of. Yeah,
and something to keep in mind that adds to that, right, is just because it works for one affiliate doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? So those creatives are not one size fits all because your audience is probably different than somebody else's audience. So like Chris is talking about, you want to curate the information so that it fits your audience best.
Yep, and if this were a big brand and we were talking about Nike, they're going to have a brand book, or Adidas, or any really big consumer package, big brand is going to have a book that shows you their colors, their typography, their tone of voice, but they're all to enable you as the creator to kind of speak on behalf of that brand, or in this case, sell on behalf of the brand. So I think it's a great answer. A good one right here. What's the difference between rev share and CPA from Ami Ben?
Yeah, great question, Ami. So rev share is basically a percentage commission of a sale, right? Let's say 70%. An offer owner might say, hey, whatever this customer buys, I'll give you 70% of that commission. You are sharing that commission. And with that, you're also responsible for if that customer performs a refund or a chargeback, right? You are also sharing the responsibility of helping make that customer whole, just like ClickBank does, just like the offer owner does. Everybody basically gives back what they made to make that customer whole. CPA is a fixed dollar amount, right? Let's say $100. Rather than 70%, it's $100. Regardless of what that customer buys, you're going to make $100 on that sale. And you do not share the responsibility to make that customer whole, right? CPA is typically a little bit lower than rev share because of that shared responsibility, but offers on ClickBank have typically really low refund rates, right? We are a merchant processor. We want to make sure that the quality is traffic, so we're going to have quality offers on the platform. We're going to maintain relationships with quality affiliates. So typically, you're not going to have, you can't fail going either way.
Yeah, that's a great point. Two commission types, both really valuable in their own right, and sometimes they just work better for one person or one type of affiliate than another. To your point, CPA, with that upfront earning that you make, even if it's not as high as the potential earning on RevShare, there is a certain predictability to it. You know exactly what you're going to make in commission, the dollar amount, and you're going to keep that regardless of any refunds. So we find sometimes, I think, for media buyers who are just looking for predictability or they're trying to forecast, that CPA might be a little bit easier. But RevShares are a more traditional model, and we offer both as a platform, and it's really up to the offer owner if they want to offer both on an individual offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think of an example, right, where the customer buys from you for the first time, you get your first conversion on a new campaign, and you're on a rev share agreement, right? And that customer buys, let's use a supplement, for example. They buy one supplement, and that supplement was $59, right? You're going to get 70% of that $59, but that could be misleading as to what you could actually earn on that offer, right? Because if the customer bought 3 or 6 bottles, you're going to make much more on that, right? So there's so much variance to it. CPA is oftentimes something that's a little bit more guarded by offer owners because they want to make sure that your traffic is really quality before they're offering that because they're taking on more of that risk, right, for the refund and chargeback element. But both can be really viable strategies for you.
And you did mention it in your presentation, the blog. Maybe we can drop it in the chat or we'll follow up with it. But we do have a really great article put together by Daniel, kind of CPA versus rev share that weighs some of the pros and cons and when you might want to consider either of those commission types. Okay. Can you expand on what you mean by making data-driven decisions and optimizing top-down? That's from Cheney Okai.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, if you were making data-driven decisions, it means that you're basically looking at your analytics and you're figuring out, all right, what is the problem? Is there a reason, a specific identifiable reason why my ad's not working? Am I getting a ton of impressions, but I'm not having anybody click through my ads, right? I need to tweak my ad copy probably. Am I getting a lot of people that are landing on my pre-lander, but nobody's clicking through to the offer? I might need to redesign my pre-lander, right? You want to let the data inform your optimization decisions. And when I talk about going top down, it's because you want to pull the levers that are going to move the needle most for you, right? Look at the very first thing that customers are seeing, optimize that, right? Identify in your data where there's a hole. You're having bad performance here. Well, let's try and optimize that, right? We're going to let the data drive that decision. And optimizing top-down is really just about looking at what customers see first, so you can make sure that you're really driving more people through the funnel in a more meaningful way. So I hope that helps in expanding on that, Cheney.
Yeah, I think if I can, a great answer. And I think as Kyle pointed out, depending on where that hole is or where you see the gap in the data is going to help inform what you need to change. So yeah, to your point, if you're getting a ton of impressions on an ad, which means just lots of eyeballs, you've got tons of people seeing it. So the reach is good, like lots of people, you're getting in front of people, but the click-through's low. Okay, so then you can identify why aren't people clicking. If it's like a click-through, but then the conversions are low, okay, why aren't people buying? It'll enable you to sort of, figure out where you need to focus next. And you'll probably find that you've got to work on each stage at different times as you go. But that is one of the cool things. I have a partial background in sports nutrition and consumer packaged goods, and you get something on the shelf and you spend an immense amount of time to get it there, it's going to be on the shelf for a pretty significant amount of time. Whereas in our world, you're constantly able to tweak and refine and adjust and find what works best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great advice. Next question. What is CPM or cost per million? Why avoid, as you mentioned?
I don't think I mentioned avoiding CPM, but it is basically the cost for 1,000 impressions in your campaign, right? What I would say is don't become overly reliant on any single piece of data, perhaps unless that piece of data is your return on investment, right? Are you actually making money? That's the most important piece, right? So you can focus on CPM, CTR, CPA, right? There's so many different variables you can focus on. I don't think any one of them are innately bad, but they can be misleading. So make sure you are considering all of your data collectively.
All the acronyms.
Yeah, all the acronyms.
You have to look at every acronym.
We actually also, in case these acronyms start getting really confusing, right, we also do have a blog post that breaks down hundreds of affiliate marketing acronyms, including all of the really important ones for you to be able to check out too.
Yeah, and it seems complex like we joke about it all the time because it's a language unto itself.
Yeah.
But the reason for all these acronyms, to Kyle's point, is because each data point is important in the total picture. And you mentioned except maybe following the sales lead, but Isabella talked about that too. Like, okay, if the sales aren't there, but other things like CTR is, it kind of helps you drive your decision back from that point. So it is a lot to work with, but each of those, will add value and tell you where to look. Is it possible for a campaign to be considered a complete failure, or can any campaign be tweaked and improved? From Sayak.
I was going to say, hopefully we are pronouncing your name correctly, Sayak. That's a great question. So is it possible for a campaign to be considered a complete failure? Yes, absolutely. Typically, what you don't want to do, right, is you don't want to continue to pour money into an ad that is not working, right? You want to try and improve the ads that have some good, meaningful data for you, right? But in that example that I talked about where I said you want to try and make optimization decisions, especially if you're a beginner, that can really move the needle for you, right? They can perhaps increase commissions by, or your conversions by 50%, right? You might be testing 2 different ads against each other, and they have completely different sales angles on them, right? The hooks are completely different. Maybe the landing pages look, relatively different as well. You're trying to pull the levers that are going to give you the best return.
A great answer. All right, another one. How can I calculate a great CPC, cost per click, on Facebook? From Camilla.
Yeah, so the reason why that's a tough one is because you have, like Isabella talked about, you have high ticket and you have low ticket offers. There's so much variability in terms of how much that traffic costs, right? And what obstacles you're going to be trying to overcome when you are promoting offers. So it's hard to give you a blanket CPC target or anything like that on Facebook, because Facebook is going to give you the CPC. But what I would do is I would look into how much am I making on the offer, right? Is it profitable for me? Because your CPC could be any number of figures and you could still be profitable, right? So it's a really vague and complicated answer that I gave there, but hopefully that kind of mindset approach to it really helps.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to what Isabella was talking about too, and you've reiterated, as complicated as it seems, I think there's a desire to want to know the answers before we try, but with some of these things, you will really begin to learn those benchmarks as you get a feel for them, which might mean a small investment. That might mean, like Isabella shared, $20 to $40 to get started. Might mean running, $500 over the course of a few days to get a sense of what's working.
Yeah, let's use, sorry, just
Go
jumping
ahead.
back in here real quick. I had a conversation with an affiliate late last week who shared with me the sales data that they were experiencing on their campaign. They had spent something like $390, but you look at their cost per click and it was $10 and some cents, right? It was an expensive cost per click. Out of that $390 that they sent, they had 31 clicks to the sales page. Well, on ClickBank, a great offer that converts to cold traffic probably converts, generally speaking, in the ballpark of 0.9 to 1.9%. So if you have 31 clicks, that means you're looking for a 3.1% conversion rate if you're trying to make a decision about whether that cost per click is good for you or not. It wasn't enough data, right? It was statistically insignificant data. So again, $10.50 EPC could be great for some offers, but generally speaking, this guy was promoting a supplement. You're not going to be able to scale $10.50 EPC on a supplement offer. It's just, you aren't going to be profitable on that.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Can you change products when you're testing what works? So I suppose this is probably about switching between offers.
Yeah.
From Delma.
Yeah, so absolutely. Another great question, right? When you have creatives that are proven to work, they're typically going to work, generally speaking, for a lot of offers in that same space. So if you have this funnel that converts really well for like a blood sugar offer, for example, you can probably test a new offer using those creatives, as long as your hook kind of aligns in a general way, right, with another offer that you're trying to test to see if it works for you before you go in and you invest all this time to spin up unique creatives for it, right? Because it's time and intensive to do that, especially if I'm sitting here encouraging you, hey, read the offer. Watch the VSL, take notes, learn that. That takes time, right? But if you have proven creatives, yeah, you can absolutely swap out the products in order to test it. But if it works, obviously you're going to get the best results if you're using unique creatives for it.
Yeah, and I think that kind of connects back to some of Isabella's teachings too. She stuck with a traffic source, really committed to Facebook, found the niche, but then because she's now she's done that long enough that now she has a library of stuff that's worked successfully that she can now a little more readily and easily change offers. So it's kind of like keeping enough consistency to where you can build that library and see results and learn what works for you while allowing your freedom. Yeah.
As long as you understand the psychology of it, right, you can templatize your approach to creating ads, right? You generally speaking, if you have a lot of success with YouTube ads, you're going to have a template. Generally speaking, I'm going to create my ad. It's going to start here. We're going to talk about these things. We're going to go here. And I can pretty much take that to any vertical because I know it works for me. Facebook is going to be the same thing, right? You can create those ad templates based on what you know works. One other tip that I would also recommend, though, is if you come across an ad that you are organically provided and you like it, save it. Like put that in your own ad library, right? So that anytime that you're trying, let's say you hit like this creative hurdle. I'm not really sure what to do with my ad. You can go back to your ad library and you can regenerate that inspiration, right? So you can figure out, okay, I'm having a hard time coming up with a new creative angle. Let me tap into what captured my attention, what I've seen work, and let me use that as inspiration to try and get new ideas out and overcome that hurdle.
Nice. Yeah. Great advice. And we're back to the acronym land now.
Yes.
But it's an important acronym. What is a VSL from Yane?
Yane, that's a great question. So you'll hear the term VSL and TSL. So a VSL is short for video sales letter, and a TSL is short for text sales letter. Essentially what it means is if you go to the sales page for the offer that you're trying to promote, if it has a video, and that's the main sales element, that's a VSL. Mm-hmm. If you go to it and it just has words on the screen, text on the screen, that is a text sales letter.
Yep, and you can, if you're new to direct response, I don't know, these look very different than your standard e-commerce product page. It's not so much a product listing as it is a story. It's a sales letter, to your point. It's often long form, and if it's in the form of a video, they're typically fairly lengthy videos. Yep. We see success 40 plus minutes. So yeah, you don't have to be. It's very different rule set almost, and that's because you're speaking so directly to an engaged set of to a tribe, an engaged set of consumers.
And if you aren't super familiar with direct response, right, you're new to that space, a very simple way to think about it, right, is direct response marketing can be applied to virtually any vertical that there is in existence, right? Just this week, we came across a tattoo artist that was selling his services on a direct response landing page. What direct response is trying to do is it's trying to drive user behavior, right? What is the offer owner, the sales page, whatever it is, what is it trying to get the customer to do? Is it trying to get them to buy? Is it trying to get them to sign up? Is it trying to get them to download something? Whatever it is, you can use direct response marketing to try and drive that behavior. That's oftentimes why you see an e-com style lander is so short, but it's taking so many more touch points in order to try and drive that conversion. You're having to build that brand reputation. On direct response, it's designed to convert somebody from the very first time that they land on that page and they're not familiar with the brand. Mm-hmm. They're not familiar with the product. So direct response marketing itself can be boiled down, oversimplified into that lens.
Which, to your point, cold traffic earlier, being someone unfamiliar with the brand or the offer. This is an interesting one. Is having a squeeze page absolutely necessary? Will this be addressed later from Jason?
So, Jason, I don't know if that question will be addressed later specifically. What I will say is sometimes people get squeeze page and landing page mixed up. Right. So for the most part, especially if you're driving ads, we're going to pivot into landing page real quick because I get a lot of misconceptions from people with this question. That's why I'm going to make this pivot here. When you are driving ads on a platform like YouTube or Facebook native, you typically can't go direct to offer, right? You can't go from your ad straight to the offer. You need to have a bridge in between, right? Which is typically a pre-lander. And there's a ton of different names that are associated with it, but it basically means a page that you own. And let's say you're driving from a YouTube ad, right? Somebody clicks from the YouTube ad on like the learn more button. It would load a pre-landing page, which you own, and you might make it look like the sales page somewhat. Don't make it look identical. That's typically a weird customer experience. But you might make it look somewhat similar. And it just looks like a video, and if they click it, it's going to play it. But really, you're embedding your ClickBank hop link behind that. And as soon as they click it, it's going to redirect them to the sales page. It's going to cookie you for attribution for the sale, right? So the reason why you need a pre-lander is because you can't go direct, right? Squeeze pages, things that allow you, like affiliates that want to capture and start building up their own email list, right? They might add a field on their pre-lander that allows them to capture the email for the customer that's on the page. How do you drive that behavior? Well, give the customer incentive to give you their email, because otherwise, why would they, right? Put yourself in the shoes of the customer. Why would you submit your information there? If you are promoting, let's say, Ted's Woodworking, right, a woodworking offer, you might give them some free plans. Or if you are promoting a supplement, you might give them some digital education for free, right? They give you your email. In exchange, you're going to deliver that to them. They also have subscribed to you.
Yeah.
So now you can remarket to them. So many different ways to go there. Sorry, that was a bit of a long answer.
Yeah, you're building value along the way. You're offering value in exchange for something. And going back to that kind of cold traffic conversation, you're warming the traffic up.
Yeah.
You're not just driving someone straight to a sale. So some steps, some bridges in between definitely are beneficial.
Which also honestly helps you drive the right customer, because we talked earlier in the presentation about driving high quality clicks rather than low quality clicks. If your pre-lander can help kind of
qualify those.
Qualify those right clients for you.
Okay, we have just a few minutes left. Last question, and I've seen this one a bunch in the chat, and we are going to talk more about it later, so this may serve as a slight tease, but does ClickBank offer one-on-one support to create landing pages and funnels for ClickBank? I'm not techie, so I was just wondering, or do I get assistance through another marketing platform? Pitbull Puppy.
Pitbull Puppy, that's a name right there. So the answer is directly, no, not like a one-on-one person. We do have this new program that you will learn about later today that is called Accelerated. It's part of the Spark program. So make sure you stick around for that. Let's answer that in kind of a general way, though, right? ClickBank has content on YouTube and blog posts, which again talk about what are the good elements of a landing page. Most of the builders, like Convertri, like Lead Pages, they're WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. They're drag and drop. You don't have to be a coder, right? You don't have to know custom HTML in order to do it. If you do, great. You can have a more cost-effective solution. But these page builders are designed to just allow you to basically take pieces of a puzzle and put them together. If you're familiar with Canva and creating putting together creatives on Canva, it's kind of the same thing, right? You've got this a bunch of templates you can select from on the side, and then you're just modifying it to fit whatever you want or need. So even if you're not techie, that's okay. Find a landing page builder that allows you to just drag and drop in order to come up with your own unique design.
Yeah, and I think we get this question a ton, and it's a really good one. And I think what can be overwhelming about this space is that you're connecting a lot of different individual solutions to kind of build a working network for your business or your brand, and that can in itself be a little bit overwhelming. So as Kyle mentioned, we are going to talk a little bit later about something we've been working on. Because we get this question so often, because we know it's such a consistent pain point, that we hope will bundle and streamline a lot of those solutions into one individual product to make that step in the affiliate journey significantly easier and faster. Because I've seen questions in the chat today and all the time. How long does this take? Is it going to take months? And if you're just starting out and you're not as familiar with the tool set, there is a longer onboarding and time and learning curve. But it is our goal to accelerate that, to shrink that, and basically make it easier for you to have the tools you need in one spot. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later today. Before we do, one more enormous thanks to you, Kyle, for sharing your wisdom, your insights, your expertise with us today, all of which he's gleaned, helping people onboard over to ClickBank these last several years, building businesses on the platform every day in a very real way. So thank you, Kyle, for your time. We are going to take a brief break after this presentation. I think we'll probably take 15, 20 minutes. Our next is set to start at 1:45 Mountain Time. So 20 minutes from now, we will be back with our next speaker, a fantastic affiliate. I think one of your...
You're going to get so much value out of this next one.
A young guy, extremely smart, one of your good friends, Isaac Kevelson. We'll be back in about 20 minutes with Isaac. But I hope over this 20-minute break, you get a chance to reset, kind of refresh, come back in 20 ready to learn for the afternoon. We have a whole additional array of speakers, and I did see some questions really about kind of the how around this. And yeah, Anna Stewart, one of our other affiliate managers, will be here, and she'll show some things on the ClickBank platform. So for those of you who have been looking out for like, show me how this works, we're going to be able to provide some of that insight too. So thank you so much for sticking with us so far. Huge thank you to Kyle and all of our experts so far today. We will see you back in 20. Cheers.
Thank you.